Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. So we're talking about this study of fish. They're studying depression in fish because they say fish can become depressed-like when experiencing chronic stress, and it makes them a good model for understanding and treating psychiatric problems in humans. And I thought to myself, wow, who funded this study? Here's what they went on to say about this, because I want to cover this in the context of just the craziness of leftism. In the future, we could use the fish to search for other therapies, says co-author Dr. Herwig Bayer, director of the Max Planck Institute of Neurobiology. This experiment may find drugs that act as well as Prozac or better with less side effects. So hopefully this is one of these things being studied by the pharmaceutical companies and not coming out of your budget. But you can bet either way it goes, ultimately you pay for it. Oh my gosh. Here's what really got me about this particular article. But don't get your hopes up too fast. Even if we find a drug that works in fish, we're still a long way from knowing if it will work in human patients. So you're studying something that you don't know if it'll work. Oh, by the way, you're stressing the fish out. Has anybody even told them stop stressing out the fish? It's funny. The article has one of those fighting fish. I forget what it's called, but it has all the real big little fins and stuff. Like, I don't know, like a Chinese fighting fish. It's like an Asian fighting fish. I can't remember the name of it, but I've seen them, and they tell you, no, they can only be alone, because if you put another fish in there, they'll kill it. They'll just keep fighting it till, one of them kills the other or whatever. I'm like, so this is a fish that just loves to fight. He's full of testosterone, and he just fights. They're called a fighting fish. I don't remember the name of it. Asian fighting fish. And usually they're like a purple or black. That figures, right? Got to make the fish that fights all the time black. But anyway, so this fish wants to fight. Well, maybe the fish is depressed because it won't let him have a friend. Has anybody tried to find out the motivation of the fish? Maybe the fish didn't have a daddy. Maybe the fish grew up in the hood. He doesn't know. The fish needs therapy. He doesn't need to be put into a state of excitation so we can find out if he could be good, for helping with neurobiology. Come on, man. Don't use the fish. That was just one crazy story that I'm thinking, who decides that fish would be? Why not mice? We study everything in mice. Well, Kevin, the fish genome is closer to a human than an ape. Or, well, I don't know what they would tell you, but they'll give you some reason that they have to study the fish. I go back and I look at these. I think it's called Center for Government Waste or something like that. CAGW is what I remember it being. Center Against Government Waste or something. And you can go there and see what the government is spending money on. It is mind-boggling as to how they get to spend money on this. Do you remember these late night TV things that would say, hey, if you want to get the government to fund your grant, pay $49 for our thing, and then we'll tell you how to get this grant money. And I remember saying, I'm going to go the cheap way. I'll go on the internet, see if I can find a way to do it without actually having to pay. And so I was looking at and it wasn't because I wanted to do it. It was because I wanted to see if it was legit. And you go on the internet and it tells you, right, there's many places that tells you, hey, if you want to apply for this grant, put the grant together. There's so much money out there. The government just forks it over. I want to study, why black people are so oppressed, and it leads to depression, which leads to crime, blah, blah, blah. And I need $100,000 to study it on my cousin Ray Ray, and then he and Ray Ray go to, San Juan and go gambling. I don't know, but I'm telling you, I think a lot of this type of thing goes on. I want to shift gears though, because you need lots of stories for me to show you how crazy the left is. So there's a story, and it has to do with cupcakes. And I think of cupcakes and snowflakes as the new generation of millennia who've never had enough strife in their lives, so everything triggers them. Cupcakes and snowflakes. Well, in this story, it's from the Mercury News. It says, and was probably the only ever example of a tiny frosted cake sparkling mass outrage. Strong negative feedback has prompted Google to remove a cupcake calorie counter from its iOS map app. The company confirmed this week. Google had recently added this cutesy little, and they say possibly half-baked feature as an experiment. With the new feature, users saw a pink cupcake icon that automatically showed them how many calories they would burn if they walked to their destination. This app also translated the calorie count into mini cupcakes, telling walkers how many of the mini treats they would be able to burn if they walked from point A to point B. But complaints came right away. And what's funny about this to me is, one of the complaints might be, why are you using a cupcake? You're making me hungry by using a cupcake. Couldn't use a cookie. There's no pastry you should use when fat people are out walking with their app and they're looking at their app going, "Woo, I burned off what?" So what you're saying is these fat folks ate a bunch of little bitty mini cupcakes and then you just burn them off. This is how many you need to burn them off. You can just tell me the calories and let me decide how I want to burn them off. Anyway, people got mad. Critics accused the cartoon cupcake counter of being patronizing, promoting body shaming, and possibly triggering unhealthy behavior. See, that's where I was. In people who struggle with eating disorders or overexercise. There's no way to turn the feature off, critics pointed out. So when you got the app, you were going to get treated with some cupcakes, whether you liked it or not. And I still find this story very funny. Very funny. Promote body shaming. How so? How are you promoting body shaming? Look, as I said, if I'm on a walk, I don't want to see cupcakes. It has nothing to do with my willpower or anything. Just show me a little figure walking. How about that? But if you put cupcakes, I'm not going to be mad at you. It's just that it's counterintuitive to put cupcakes. But they go on to talk about how this is what got me. Because the reason why I don't like it is because why would you tempt somebody with a food group? They're out exercising. Give them a little dude lifting a barbell or something like that. Slim them down. Show them. Go do this 15,000 more times, and this is you. Go and show them their skinny picture. Give me some motivation. But they didn't do that. But the idea that they say it promotes body shaming, I find amazing. How's this promoting body shaming? I mean, so these are the types of things that leftists do. Oh, Google put a cupcake on an app. Oh, I'm triggered. Please.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.